Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it too. This is me doing it in the Umakazi. Umakazi, Humakazi, we all Makazi all the time. Can't get enough of the Makazis. Now, this is the first video I've done for World of Warships Blitz where I've been driving a destroyer, or as we will be calling them from here on in, pay careful attention, DDs. DDs are very, very tough at this low tier because, well, I think a lot of people just don't understand torpedoes in general and aren't expecting them. And this is the second and the third game I played in this boat. The first game I played in the boat was pretty much identical to these, apart from the fact that I did about 20,000 damage, just as I get a bit of a hand on it. And I've got to say that first thoughts are that these are probably the strongest class of boats in the game. One of the reasons for that is that the games are currently 6 minutes long. It's very, very hard to get through the hit point pool of a battleship at these tiers with guns, if they know what they're doing. If you know how to angle up, if you use your heels correctly, if you're running any kind of consumables and you're repairing when you get fires, then it can be very, very tough to get through that hit point pool. The only thing that really packs enough of a punch to do it, and do it with any kind of consistency, is the destroyers. And that's why they're very important. Now you can see here, most important thing here is you're going to see at the top of the screen, there is a little mini-map. Now that mini-map will show you your detection range. That's the dashed line and the range of whatever gun or torpedo you've got open at that point in time. And that's the solid line just behind it. When you fire, obviously that goes up. Now the reason I'm switching to guns and then torpedoes because I'm within detection range anyway, so I may as well just be using all the damages that I possibly can. Now, an experienced player will tell you that torpedo boats, when driven by anyone that has half a clue, are exceptionally strong. They're even stronger in this meta because you can basically fire your guns and fire your torpedoes and not have to worry about doing damage to your teammates. In the PC version of the game, you fire your guns or your torpedoes, and if someone gets in the way, you blow them up. And that turns you pink, and you're a team killer, and it's all a big pain in the bum. This is a much more optimum angle. You want to be hitting people as they go side on. And that means that Big Dan is about to get a big uppercut. There we go. Plenty of damages. Module's damaged, he's flooding. If he's already used his repair kit or he's not running consumables, that's going to be more damage for me. The best bet with a destroyer is to use your stealth to sneak up on targets and launch without being spotted. Everyone goes a little bit hog wild in this game, which means you can't actually do that. Now, I couldn't target that Airy there because the Chester actually kept getting in the way on the auto aim. But I kind of guessed where that Chester would be going and launched accordingly. And I'm moving in to get the final kill on Big Dan. And we did. We picked up 2 torpedo hits on the Airy. We caused flooding, and he's in big strife now. Big Dan is right into us. We're going to dump a whole heap of love into him. There we go. Big Dan's gone. And you can see just how deadly and effective these boats are. And we're going to get our double strike. Oh, maybe we're not. Maybe it was the first game we got the double strike in. Yeah, it was the first game we got the double strike in, I think. Or maybe it was this game. Who knows?
Good job.
This is far, far different to the way you played your destroyers in World of Warships. The natural enemy of a destroyer is a high explosive firing cruiser. Now, there's a reason for that. The cruisers fire HE. HE will hit the lightly armored destroyer and do full damage rolls. Okay? AP will quite often be so strong, like from a battleship, that it will go through the destroyer's armor, and before the shell has a chance to arm and explode, it will pass straight through into the other side. And that's called an overpen. And that's something that is a little bit counterintuitive, because you would think that being an overpen, it would actually be best to be going straight forward where you get your best armor angle going on, which is what happens with battleships. In a destroyer, quite often, if you've got a big caliber gun firing at you, you are actually best at being completely broadside to the enemy, because it will cause overpens. These are all very, very tactically advanced situations when you're going through these things in your head. Anyway, we YOLO'd pretty hard there, and I played very, very aggressively in the 3 games I played in the Umikaze, and we won all 3, and we did. I don't know what that guy's doing. He may well be a bot. I mean that in all seriousness. He may well be a bot. Let's talk about the stats of the boat. The Umikaze has a 4.83 kilometer surface detection range. That's its concealment, okay? That's really good, and that's why you can sneak up on people. The problem with the Umikaze is that you have torpedoes that only have a range of 5.56 kilometers. There is a gap between those two numbers of about 700 meters. They've removed the microphone thing because I'm telling Winston Gord to go away because all he has to do is not get hit for the next 30 seconds and we win. I don't think Winston Gore is actually a player. That surface detection range of 4.83 and the torpedo range of 5.56 is really important. It means that the Umikaze, while it has fantastic punching power because its torpedoes can actually do 2,200 damage each torpedo, which is a lot of damage at this tier when you're dealing with boats, you know, that have small hit point pools. There is a small gap. When you move up to the Wakataki, you'll see that you can get your surface detection range down to 5.06 kilometers, and all these numbers are using a torpedo camouflage. I'm currently using camo-wise. I bought Torpedo Squad, so just so you know. So these are maximum numbers that I've been able to get going on there. So there we go, 30,000 damage, 3 kills, MVP, very solid game. I was pretty YOLO-tastic, but the boat supports that. It's very, very quick. It's got very, very low surface detection. It's got excellent torpedo reload time, and it does a lot of damage with them. Now, the Umikaze is great. If you move up to the Wakataki, you then get this much bigger gap. You have a surface detection range of 5 kilometers, and you have a torpedo range of 6.49 kilometers. Now, that's 1.5 kilometers. And just before I go any further, don't waste blueprints on the guns of torpedoes. You do not want to be using the guns on Japanese torpedo boats. Pretty rubbish. There are various Japanese torpedo boats that are not rubbish with guns in PC, but I've yet to get high enough in the line to see if there are any of them in
General Quarters
in World of Warships Blitz. I mean, the Akatsuki and the Akazuki, the two that I always used to confuse. One of them's a massive gumbo, one of them's not. But so the Wakataki, for instance, has a 1.5 kilometer difference in those two lines. So when you use your torpedoes, the lines at the top of the mini-map, there's a difference between, you can see there, between the dashed line and the solid line, and that's your stealth torpedo fire range. That means that you can have someone anywhere in that zone, you can fire at them between the dashed line and the hard solid line. You can fire torpedoes and move away and they won't see you. And that's really, really, really important. And as you move up to the Wakataki, you get a 1.5 kilometer torpedo range instead of the 700. So that's like a double up again. And it's already a strong boat. And moving along and getting more of that stealth firing range is really, really strong. So I'm quite looking forward to getting stuck into the Wakataki. I've driven enough games in the Yuma now, and I might have spent some gold to get the Wakataki because everyone wants to see reviews and all that kind of thing. So we hit with a couple of talks at the start. You have several jobs as a DD, and the Umikaze actually does better than the Wakataki at a couple of them. Surface detection of 4.83. So think about this. If you have a cap game where you've got to get into a cap, or you've got a center game where you've got to go into a center circle and cap that, you can do that, and you can do it without being spotted, which means you can do it without taking fire, and you're far more likely not to get hit. Now, I'm trying to give an example here of stealth firing with my torps, and see that Chikuma there? I'm getting him just at the edge. If you look up in the top left-hand corner, you can see just at the edge there, and he's in now. So he's now within the range. I auto-lock onto him. I start turning away, and I launch a full set of torps. Now, I've now launched torps. I've launched 8,000 damage worth of torps at him, and I've turned away and I've not been seen. That is called a stealth drop or a stealth torping. And there you go. We got him right at the edge of our range. We put a bunch of damage in. We made him flood, and we never got spotted once. A lot of people don't use their stealth correctly. You need to be using your stealth for this. If you're not using stealth correctly, you're going to end up in situations where you're detected, and not only are they going to shoot you like that, they are also, and this is the key, unless we get very lucky here, we fire 2 at him and one of them sets him on fire. He's already used a repair or doesn't have a repair. He's flooded right down. We then jump a heap of torps into this Chikuma. So we get the kill there, and then we get the kill on the other bloke in the Chikuma, and that's a double strike. Happy days. 2 kills in a very short period of time. And we go for our third. If that had a hit and set him on fire, we might have got the 3 kills, which is pretty cool. But anyway, Popeye's there. We'll have a crack at him in the Wakataki. Moving right along. So you can use these stealth to actually both scout the enemy. You can be the first one up in a line, and you can use it to cap the enemy out. Scouting the enemy is going to be a lot more valuable as you progress in the tiers. And the Umikaze is a very, very good boat for that because its concealment is sub 5 kilometers, which is absolutely crazy low. Hey, like that is really, really low. Good torps. Your turning speed, 8.86 degrees a second. That's, again, exceptionally good. It's a very agile boat. But your guns are absolutely crap. Like, if you're looking at doing any damage with guns, forget about it. You're a genuine 100% torpedo machine. Your guns are absolutely rubbish. You don't want to be using your guns to fire them. And you saw me fire 2 shots there. That is the most effective you're ever going to see them. Get 2 shots fired, set a fire, and kill him with dots. If you go into a gunfight in this boat versus just about anyone else in the game, you're going to come off second best. Your torpedoes, on the other hand, are absolutely insane. Now you can see I'm actually anticipating where he's going there, and I'm firing ahead of the white line because I saw him turning. You're going to have to start doing things like that if you want to actually hit with more than one set of torpedoes. So you fire one ahead of them and one behind them rather than one exactly where they are, and that means you're far more likely to get torps. Now, that South Carolina is a battleship. Torpedo boats love battleships. If he is engaged with someone else, and we have 2 cruisers over there, so I'm thinking he's going to be engaged with someone else, then we can move up here and go to our heart's content. Now, Popeye's knocked a couple off. We're only 10 points up. Jay's going to be looking at those 2 cruisers. We have a 1 boat advantage, but still that's not enough. What we need to do is get rid of this South Carolina. So I'm going to launch 2 lots at him and then push in very hard. I'm even going to go to guns, even though I've just told you they're not very useful, because he is not looking at me. He has his hands full with our compatriot over there driving the cruiser in the Chester. We dump 2 torps into him, and he is in strife because we're now going to jump a whole load into him right here. Very, very close. We don't have to go exactly on the line, and he's going to eat a lot of damage right now. There we go. There's about 8,000 damage straight into him. Unlucky not to get the flooding, and we're all going to drop more guns into him. Love it, love it, love it. That's the Umikaze. Be really, really aggressive. Pay attention to your actual stealth range and all that kind of thing, and you'll do very well. Look, they're up. They're up. Oh, 9 seconds left. Come on, Bushka. Pull this one out of the fire. Dump the torpedoes. Bang! Woohoo! Well done. Great boat. DDs are pretty strong at this tier, hey. Very, very strong, in fact. We just pulled that out, and I think we did 30-odd thousand damage, which is good. Got a double strike. For a tier 2 boat with a hit point pool of, what's the hit points on this boat? 8,398, and we dropped out 35,000 damage. So you can see straight away, very, very strong boat. Lots and lots of videos coming up, guys. Lots of streams coming up, lots of podcasts coming up. Make sure you listen to the podcasts. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and tell your friends. If they want to know about boats, come to Bushka on Blitz. Until next time, look after your families and stay safe on the battlefield. And be nice to your mum.